right is Dr. Nkosinathi, is the NSFAS administrator. In the middle, without any introduction to yourselves, but for the purpose of this briefing, we're having the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, who will then read the statement for us. Minister, over to you. You will forgive me. Gadgets a bit backwards so that the ministers. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Program Director of the session, the Department of Higher Education and Training Director General, Dr. Nkosinathi, NSFAS Administrator, Mr. Freeman Nomvalo, DDGs present here today, the staff of the department, members of the media, fellow South Africans, good afternoon. In the last few years, the student population has grown and the demand for student financing has equally increased. This is because the government has created access to post-school education and training for the historically marginalized people of South Africa, especially for the children of poor and the working class. Education is a critical tool used by the government to address historic injustices, poverty, and inequalities, and also equip students to enter the labor force as a driver to build a capable developmental state. It is critical that NSFAS is adequately prepared in terms of resources and systems to meet this growing demand when we open for the 2025 online application processes. Many students have expressed frustrations over delayed payments and inefficiencies of NSFAS systems. Our constitutional democracy makes provision that the people shall govern, and that means that the people must play a critical role in the administration of the country, and we are committed to getting guidance from the different role players in our PSET system. Beginning on Thursday, the 12th of September 2024, I have had extensive consultations with stakeholders in the PSET sector, and the purpose of these consultations was to solicit inputs and proposals to policy positions on matters that affect our PSET system. NSFAS participated in stakeholder engagement meetings where student formations, universities, and TVET colleges posed robust engagements and shared with us great insights on how best we can turn around the institution. The importance we attached to these consultations was such that we have had to work over the weekend, and we managed to finish yesterday. The following student formations were consulted, which is the first one is the Progressive Youth Alliance that we had an engagement with in the morning, followed by Economic Freedom Fighter Student Chapter, the Pan-Africanist Movement of Azania, the Democratic Alliance Student Organization, the South African Christian Organization, the Action SA Student Chapter, the South African Democratic Student Movement, and the MK Party Student Wing. We also consulted extensively with PSET institutional governance structures, the South African Union of Students, commonly known as SAUS, the South African Further Education and Training Student Association, SAFETA, the South African Public Colleges Organization, SACPO, and the Universities South Africa, which is commonly known as USAF. It was due to these critical consultations that we have had to postpone the launch of 2025 NSFAS online application launch, which is a significant concern for students nationwide. Another reason for postponing the launch of the 2025 NSFAS online application process was to allow NSFAS to do a dry run on the online application system to stakeholders. The feedback received has already informed some of the critical systems changes to simplify the online application process and also making it accessible to all. Amongst others, the stakeholders' engagement helped us to enrich our understanding of such matters. I'll highlight a few. It was agreed in our engagement that NSFAS is the main factor of instabilities in our institutions of higher learning. However, this is linked to delays in releasing matric examination results, which then translates to delays in funding decisions. The second challenge that was highlighted is that we need to improve performance of NSFAS and also to review our student funding model, which should have an interface with the SETAs. And on private student accommodation, it was agreed that it should be a conducive environment for both learning and living. The major challenge or concern of our stakeholder was that currently it's like we are reinventing the wheel, so we need to elevate the best practices and rethink how to deal with the peace system holistically and in a systemic way. The safety and security of visits together with the students remains a concern. And around issues of TVET sector, the concern is around infrastructure development as well as ICT. What we then said as the department, we said amongst the interventions that we are going to take is to increase the intake of the college system by targeting 1 million enrollments in community colleges and 2.5 million in public and private TVET colleges by 2030. In relation to our universities, we said we'll continue to diversify them based on their strengths and the needs of the communities in which they are located by targeting 1.6 million enrollments by the year 2030. During these consultations, I have also reaffirmed our commitment to change the size and shape of our PSET system, particularly to expand the TVET college sector. We also engage on the need to alignment between our national skills needs with the curriculum content, which is going to translate then to curriculum review. Institutional governance matters and the role of councils was also deliberated on. The correlation between access and success in our PSET system was deliberated on because we could see that there is no clear exit strategy on how best then do we absorb or place our graduates when they complete their programs in institutions of higher learning. Inputs regarding the review of some of the legislation and policies governing our sector was also considered. It is my contention that ongoing discussions with the student formations and political bodies will shape the future of higher education policy, particularly regarding student financial aid and accessibility. The vice-chancellors from various universities together with the principals of TVET colleges also attended the stakeholder meetings, and their collective inputs will definitely help shape our policy positions and approaches to matters of teaching and learning and other areas of interest. I know everyone is interested on this one. I have just recently returned from China as part of His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa's delegation to the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation. What we should understand is that we have a long-standing cooperation with the People's Republic of China in various areas of higher education and training, which continues to grow and support South Africa's knowledge and skills development. Our engagements during this visit aligns with the South Africa's strategic goals targeting technological advancements and international collaboration in education. It's suffice to say we will be sending about 100 students to China in the upcoming year to study, discuss, and critical skills of the future as we advance in skills revolution towards addressing skills mismatch that the country is currently facing. Having received a presentation during the stakeholder consultations and having noted the comments received from stakeholders, I am now confident that NSFAS is ready to kickstart the 2025 online application process, which is effective this Friday, the 20th of September 2024. The briefing in this regard will take place in this very same auditorium at the GCIS at 12 o'clock. I am therefore inviting all students who are sitting for their matriculation this year to take this opportunity and apply for either the NSFAS bursary or loan. This invitation is also extended to learners from grade 9, 10, and 11 who would like to enter the technical and vocational education and training sector. We are indeed committed to fulfilling what has been said in the Freedom Charter. I quote, "Doors of learning and culture shall be open," close quote, and will make sure that no one is left behind, especially the children of the working and the poor in all corners of South Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think it goes without a say that the Minister kept to the time. I see what is not customed is for the colleagues to clap hands during media briefing. So it shows that everything went well. Thank you very much, Minister. Colleagues, this is the part 2 of our briefing, and we are giving you an opportunity now to ask questions based on the statement. I recognize colleagues also who are on our social media pages. You are also welcomed to ask those questions. They will reach us here, and the leadership will respond. But let me start to give opportunities to you colleagues who are here in this media room. Please identify yourself and the media house that you represent. Thank you very much. Sir, you'll be the first. Okay, ma'am, the second. I see only 2. Is that a hand? Oh no. The minister also takes compliments, colleagues. You can stand up. And do we have any WhatsApp calls? Messages? Nothing. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me recognize you, sir. Thank you. Maybe before, the 4 institutions are talking about the private institutions that way. Okay. Okay, thanks, Alpha. Yes, ma'am. Can you start from the beginning? We did not hear. Okay. 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 No, thank you very much. The first question relates, which is asked by Alpha. It's about the discontinuation, DG, of the 4 institutions, private institutions. What is the current status quo? The second question is to the NSFAS administrator on the issues of the rental space in the office in Cape Town, and the plans, if there are any, for the for NSFAS. Veronica asked the question on the application process. Now that the tests have been done, is the system seamless? The last question is on the update on the board. Minister, I think on the board of NSFAS, given the challenges facing the institution, what is the status quo as well there? Thank you very much. In that order, DG. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ishmael Mnisi, the Head of Communications at NSFAS, for the opportunity, and a very warm welcome and greetings from the Department of Higher Education and Training to all in the media. I think you recognize that you are playing a very important role in education, and I think your questions also assist us to reach out to many South Africans who may not know what is happening behind the scenes, especially matters administrative. The Department of Higher Education and Training has a responsibility to ensure policy compliance to all institutions, and that applies to EDUCO as well. In this regard, failure to comply with requirements for submission of financial statements, the institution was deregistered. After consideration on humanitarian grounds by the Minister of the consequences of the closure of the institutions, the Minister took a decision that on humanitarian ground the institution be re-registered. And therefore, at this point in time, this institution is back in its operation. But it was very clear to this institution that we demand compliance within specific time frames that were provided for and in line with the laws of our country around the registration of institutions. And I think it is important that I say that the Minister considered this particularly because EDUCO employs a lot of educators, but also it employs more than 50,000 students. And therefore, even though the matter was administrative, the matter that is about registration, but the consequences of the deregistration of the institution was to students and educators. And we've given them an opportunity to correct themselves, and the teams that are working with EDUCO are giving us reports that are satisfactory, that there is good working relations between our teams and them in trying to assist the institution to fully comply to the Minister's instruction. I trust that this caters for the...
Thank you very much, DG.
So much questions. I'm just going to take only 2 questions. Mr. Nomvalo is going to respond on the state of readiness, which is linked to the influx, whether the system is going to respond to the demand. With the rental of 2.5 million rands, we believe it is our collective responsibility to make sure that we indeed account for public funds. The portfolio committee has actually raised this matter with us, and through the briefing that we had with the administrator, he also raised this issue that the rental in that our regional office, I don't know how you call it, in Cape Town, the rental is very expensive. Then what is the plan moving forward? We visited the offices, we visited our old offices, but when we looked at the old offices, what we picked up is that it doesn't have capacity to take all our employees that we have in Cape Town in our head office. But the plan forward is to decentralize. We are going to decentralize. We are going to establish regional offices in 3 provinces, which is the Eastern Cape, Gauteng, and KwaZulu-Natal. Then we see how best can we then come up with satellite offices in other provinces. We are in plans to actually terminate the contract that we have with the landlord in our Cape Town offices because it doesn't make any business sense anyways. The question around the board, it is the responsibility of the minister as far as national skills, NSFAS Act to actually appoint the board. In August, on the 1st, we gazetted, I issued a gazette with some amendments. Amongst those, it spoke to the management, governance, and administration of NSFAS, as we are trying to stabilize the institution. Hence, you know that the board was dissolved by my predecessor due to the outcomes of the Verman's report. So we are trying to stabilize that. We have issued a call for nominations. The advert is closed. We are now going to start the process of selecting the best of the best because we want people who are going to bring skills, value in that institution. And we have upped the bar because the minimum requirement is master's degree. We're hoping that moving forward, the systems are going to be up and ready, including governance systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I want to take this opportunity first to thank all of the stakeholders that we've interacted with over the past few days on the inputs that they provided on how the system should be configured. We take very seriously their inputs, and we have, in fact, started incorporating some of the issues that came out of that. The question specifically is, will we be ready for the influx? We have designed the system for us to be ready on the NSFAS side. One part that must be remembered is that we do verification through interfacing with Home Affairs, with SASSA, and so on. And the dependencies are not just on the NSFAS system only, are also on other systems, as well as the availability of power around the country for connectivity to work well. But we are confident that the system is ready and it will take the influx and will be user-friendly for students to apply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take the second round of questions. Commentaries as well, they are welcomed. Sir, you'll be the first. The second? Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's agree, colleagues, that this will be the last round of questions to be taken. Online, are we okay? We sorted. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, let's proceed as such, colleagues.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nkabane, and I'm with the SABC. This one goes to Minister. This one is on the state and the health of institutions of higher universities. One of the country's universities, UNISA, has been on the media for quite some time now, and one of the reasons emanates from what your predecessor action that he took last year when he put the institution under administration and he turned on that particular decision a month later after the ministerial report was taken on review. Since you came to office, have you tried to deal with that situation? I know that there's a letter that was written to the institution requesting some reports. The PwC report, if I'm not mistaken, is one of them, whereby it spoke about the governance of the institution, also the alleged pledging of some senior members, and also in recent weeks rather, we saw like a sort of a tension at the institution with regards to the council that exists there, speaking different or there are things. I'm just checking if you dealt with that there's sort of tension with regards to governance there. The PwC report apparently the institution is just sitting on it, not implementing recommendations. Have you tried to deal with that situation in MINISA? Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Ntantla. Yes, ma'am.
This is Freeman from NSFAS. I'm going to take questions from the online. The question is from Tama Khan from Business Day.
Tama.
Tama
Okay.
Khan from Business Day. The question is to the Minister. You mentioned delayed metric results were affecting NSFAS' ability to process applications timelessly. What scope is there to get the Department of Basic Education to release this year's metric results earlier, that is in December, as previously did? Are you in discussion with your counterpart in the basic education about this?
Thank you very much. Is that the only question? Okay. Have we reached a consensus, colleagues, that we are closing? No more other questions. Agreed? Okay. Thank you very much. Minister, there are two questions. One from Tlantla on the health of our institution in reference UNISA and the issues of what is currently taking place there. And the previous history about its intention to place it under administration. And Tama is about our interaction with DBE as one institution that affects the proper planning for NSFAS and its application process. Thank you very much. TG will go first. Thank you, TG.
Thank you very much, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's important that we appreciate the good working relations between the Department of Basic Education and Higher Education. This stretched back many years. As you know, that in history, the matric results always would be released in the year in which the examinations are written. After COVID, it was difficult for DBE to stick to that principle. Quite clearly, as a result of this shift, the administration of examinations as well as our enrollment system was affected. In this regard, we are working together with DBE and will continue to work with them to influence an outcome that will lead to us, giving institutions of higher learning an opportunity to do their administration and enrollment by ensuring that the release of matric results are aligned to all of those processes. We are confident that our discussions working with this department will yield reasonable outcomes, because all of us work in the interest of our students. We trust that you will also support the Minister and the DGs of both departments as they work towards a solution in a difficult matter, because on one hand, we would like the examinations in DBE to be error-free. But on the other hand, we also would not like to interfere with the normal administrative and enrollment processes of post-school education and training institutions. Thank you.
Maybe DG to add a little bit here, because we do need to applicants to know that we are ready to process their applications. We are putting in place a contingency plan. While the DG is working with the DPE, we are putting in place a contingency plan to be able to respond quicker to processing of applications should we find ourselves in a scenario where the results are issued late. It will obviously still result in hardships to students getting their outcomes later, but we have put in place a plan where we've got additional resources lined up to deal with the applications as and when we receive the results from DPE. Thank you.
Maybe to add on the same point around alignment with the DPE, we are working towards ensuring that there is better interface with DPE. I am going to initiate a meeting between my counterpart on the other side, Minister Khwarumbana, so that we discuss this matter and see how best can we arrest it. On the issue around governance in UNISA, the clarion call that we are calling for as the department or as the PSIT system is that we should act swiftly to stop unnecessary costly legal battles in our systems broadly as the PSIT system. And we are indeed committing to say we are going to come up with possible solutions and focus on the stability of our higher education institutions, because this is what we want. We need to just focus on our mandate as it is derived in our section 29 of the Constitution, not to be preoccupied with legal battles. So we're trying to move towards that direction. Thank you so much for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Just once more, next week, Friday, actually it's this week, Friday, 12 o'clock, we are meeting for the announcements in the very same venue. We'll be having provincial crossings because the applications will take place here as well and also in various provinces, but we'll be glad to welcome you here. And those who can, please join us as well in the various provinces. We'll share the venues where that will be happening. Thank you very much. Let's see each other on Friday.